All right, BG crew, it is official. It is the third day of rest after 245 days of no days off. And although it is some physical rest, the mind is still in no days off as I continue to think about training, prepare for training, and get ready for this next strength-based training cycle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you guys a little sneak peek into what I've developed already for the programming for this next training cycle. And please bear with it. It is very, very basic right now. There's still a lot of work I need to put into it. But I want to give you guys some general ideas of what I'm looking at as far as programming and have it broken down into 4 days right now. I'm working on a 5th day. I want to figure out what that's going to look like. And I'm also trying to figure out my split. So basically what days I'm going to train. So what I'm going to train on what days. So I still have not figured that out, but let me give you a sneak peek on what we're currently looking at the moment. So you'll see right up here, I'm going to give you a little breakdown of what the training is going to look like at a very basic kind of foundational level of training with a lot of things that'll change and be added, taken away, and different things like that throughout the process. So let's start here with day one. And like I said, I have not figured out what day one will fall on. It could fall on a Monday, a Wednesday. That is also an important part that I'm trying to adjust as well, because it's very important that with this strength-based routine, if you're familiar with like the West Side Method and different things like that, it's very important that you schedule your days based on your speed days and your max effort days. So that's very important. And there's always that kind of protocol when we talk about strength-based routines, that your speed day and your max effort day, that your max effort day is roughly 48 to 72 hours after your speed day. So you're hitting that max effort lift roughly 72 hours, 48 to 72 hours after your kind of speed / dynamic day. So I got to figure that out still. I've done it many times in the past. Just need to see what my schedule looks like and where things fit best, because obviously I have a very busy life outside of here, and I just want to make sure I dedicate the time that I need to those lifts and making sure I'm getting the best benefit out of that. So let's start here with day one, which is going to be a bench day. And I'm looking at this day one as a kind of a dynamic / speed day. All right, so when we talk about a dynamic / speed day, we're talking about utilizing a certain percentage of your max. So I'm going to take a general idea of what I've maxed out on during the no days off. For instance, for my bench. So let's say I hit, which I did, I hit 405. During my no days off. So in order to start this 3-week wave of bench day, which will start with a bench press variation as the first movement on this bench day, I'm breaking this down in a 3-week wave. And the way that the 3-week wave works is that it's a kind of a rotation or a cycle or a different variation each week when we talk about the percentage of what weight you're using, but also the variations of the movement that come along with that and the variations of the sets and reps that come along with those movements as well. So I have not broken down the variations of the lifts. What I mean by that is variations could include, board presses. They can include utilizing chains. They could use bands. There's so many different variations. So I have not broken those down yet, but I'm working on that. But I do have the basic 3-week wave broken down. And if you look up here, what I'm looking at is, again, a bench day, which is going to be a dynamic bench day. The percentage will be, let's say, a percentage of the 405. So you'll see up here I have the percentages broken down by each wave of each week. Okay, so week one, which would be the week one, the first wave, I'm going to do a bench speed day of 10 sets of 2 with 35% of the 405. Okay, so again, it's going to be 10 sets of 2, all right, of 35% of 405. All right, and then the second week, so the next wave is going to be 8 sets of 3 of 40% of 405. And then the third week, the third part of this wave, is going to be 5 sets of 5, okay, with 45% of 405. Then I'll go into a max effort day, and whatever variation I'll choose on the max effort day is very important. So it could be a max effort of straight bench. It could be a max effort of rack presses. It could be a max effort of floor press. It could be a max effort of board presses. That will then set another max effort number. So let's say during my max effort week, I hit 425 on board press. Again, this 3-week wave will be based off of that 425 max effort lift. All right, so again, I'm basing these percentages off of whatever max effort variation I hit to create the waves, the 3-week waves that you see up here. So again, I've also really like, if you look at the Westside template, the old school one, like the one way back, there was a lot of the 10x2, 8x3, 12x2, so really high sets, low reps, obviously with extremely low percentage of max effort. But over the years and before Louie Simmons kind of passed away, for a couple years before then, he moved into a 5x5 dynamic day. So it was 5 sets of 5. And one of the main reasons he did that is he calculated the workload was the same as 8x3 or 10x2. But because of the amount of lifters and how long it was taking to do 10 sets of 2, they broke it down into 5x5, and they found out that the benefits were amazing coming back from or coming through a 5x5 setup. So I'm going to break that down in my own way, and I'm going to run a 3-week wave of both kind of the 10x2, 8x3, and then into the 5x5. So you'll see that those waves broken down. Now, the variations will definitely change throughout as I get adapted and as I progress through this. Again, I will be adding chains and bands to these. So then the percentages may lessen a little bit or may go up a little bit, but I'll use the percentage, again, of what my max effort. So as you see here, I'm like, for instance, the 8x3 at 40%. Now, it'll be 40% bar weight as I get progressed through here. So down the road, it would be 40% bar weight, 40% of my max, all right, for 8 times 3, 8x3, but I may add chains and bands to that, giving an additional heavier weight at the top of the lift. So you have 40% bar weight, and then you have a percentage of chains at the top. So the top end of the lift might be like 65 to 70% of your max, because it's heavier at the top. But that comes way down the line after my body adapts to this training routine. From there, I'm going to go into a tricep movement. So it'll be any kind of tricep variation, skull crushers, dumbbell rollovers, tape press, close grip, all the stuff you guys have been seeing me do on a tricep/arm day throughout the no days off. And then I'm going to jump into some back. And that could be many different back variations, from cable pull downs to barbell rows, dumbbell rows, croc rows, all the various back movements you've seen throughout the last 245 days. And those will rotate from each week. So each week I'll pick a different exercise to do during this back movement. Then I move into a shoulder or chest movement. That could be a military press, a military dumbbell press. It could be a flat bench chest press. Dumbbells, it could be an incline dumbbell press. It could be an incline, incline barbell press. I mean, there'll be different variations that I'll rotate through between a shoulder and kind of chest exercise. If you look at the Westside method, they classify this whole movement, whether it's a dumbbell flat bench or a military press, they classify it all as a shoulder movement. And then from there, I plan to maintain my bicep work, which again, if you look at the Westside and or any kind of powerlifting kind of hardcore routine, a lot of power lifters don't believe in doing biceps, but I definitely believe in doing biceps. So I'm going to keep that into the routine for this day as well. So we'll have a bicep. So let's jump over into day 2. Again, still trying to figure out the day for this. And we're going to do a max effort squat/deadlift. And as you can see, I'm coupling day 2 with day 1, being that I'm doing a dynamic/speed day, so a much lighter bench day, given the percentages. Yes, the sets and the reps are kind of a little bit, the 5x5 is probably pushing it a little bit, but it's still speed work, because again, I'm only using, 35, 40, 45% of my max. So I'm utilizing that going into a max effort. So again, I'm not maxing on a bench day, then the next day that I'm training is going to be a max effort day. So it's not going to be back-to-back max effort days. So day 2, depending on when I put that day in there, is going to be a squat slash deadlift day. And again, squat and deadlift. So squat is going to rotate in a 2-week wave. 1 week will be a max effort squat. The next week will be a max effort deadlift. And then that'll continue to rotate through. All right, and we're looking at a 1 to 3 rep max on this day. So this could be any kind of squat or deadlift variation. Again, 1 week squat, do a squat variation. It could be a full squat, box squat. That could be a front squat. That could be whatever variation, bands, chains, and so forth and so on. And then the deadlift variation on the other week will include a full deadlift, deficit deadlifts, block pulls, rack pulls, chains, bands, and so on and so forth. So that'll be a max effort day of that for deadlift and squat, followed by good morning work. So I'm always going to incorporate good morning work. Yes, I can also include good morning max effort into my squat day, which I will once I get down to that point. But right now, I'm going to do a good morning workout or good morning exercise following my max effort squat or deadlift. Okay, so it'll be a good morning variation. Then I'm going to go into another squat variation. Now this is going to be more of a higher rep. So really kind of focusing on blood flow. So I'll go into a squat variation, front squats, back squats, Zetra squats, belt squats, all the variations that a squat movement will have. And then I'm going to go into a hamstring. That could be, leg curls, straight-legged, Romanian deadlifts, dumbbell Romanian deadlifts, dumbbell straight-legged, the variations, a lot of variations for hamstrings. And then I'm actually going to finish my workout with abs on this day. So there is my day 2, which is a max effort squat and deadlift day. Day 3 is going to be a max effort bench day. And yes, I know I just said that I'm trying not to couple a max effort back to back, but I will have a rest day. And I plan to have a 72-hour window between my dynamic bench day and my max effort bench day. The way that the days break down, eventually you're going to kind of run into each other where you're doing a max effort, one day, and then the next day that you train is another max effort day, but that's where rest will become very important. So whether I have a day or two of rest in between that will be all based on how I break the split down. But either way, day 3 is going to be a max effort bench day, and we're going to look at, obviously, benching a max effort 1 to 3 reps, and this could be any bench variation. This could be a straight bench, this could be a board press, this could be utilizing a slingshot, this could be adding chains, bands, this could be a floor press, this could be a rack press, it could be any kind of bench max effort. I'm also more than likely going to include some incline barbell max effort work as well into this day. Still working on that. Again, please bear with me on all of this. I literally just started working on this, so I might be a little bit scrambled in how it is, but up here it'll all click and come together. Following that will be a tricep, back work, shoulder chest again, and then biceps again on day 3. And then let's jump into day 4, which is going to be, again, another squat and deadlift day. This will be considered a dynamic / speed day, so it'll somewhat mimic the bench day that I talked about with the 3-week wave. The most important or the key here is that I'll be doing squat and deadlift. So I'll be doing the 3-week wave, the percentage wave for both squat and deadlift on the same day. So let's say squat is first. I'm going to break down my percentages based on my max effort of squat, whatever variation that was. Get that number, get my percentages. Let's say 45% of 400-pound squat. I'll get that 40% calculated. That'll be the bar weight, and then I'll move through these waves just like my bench day has, just like I explained the bench day. So with that would be the obvious 3-week wave, but I'll be doing squat and deadlift. So I'll do, let's say on squat, I'll be, let's see what this says here. Let's got 10 sets of 2 at, this would be 10 sets of 2, let's say at 40%. All right, so it'll be 10 sets of 2 at 40% for squat. And then I'll go to deadlift and I'll do 10 sets of 2 at 40% of my deadlift max for deadlift. And then I'll work into the variations and accessories that you see here, being good mornings, a squat, and then a hamstring, and then abs again. So again, it'll break through. But this day is usually a brutal day. The dynamic / speed work of both the squat and deadlift combination is crazy. Definitely ready and prepared for it, obviously, through 245 days of conditioning and muscle endurance and work capacity. I have a feeling these are going to go really smooth, but I know it's going to be some work. These days in which you see the waves and the percentages, and you see, again, 10 by 2, 8 by 3, and 5 by 5, they're all going to be less than a minute rest in between sets. So you're really moving through these as fast as possible. And when you're utilizing and moving the percentage, so when you're actually moving the weight, you want to move it as fast and explosive as possible. So every set, although it's 40% or 35% or 40, whatever it is, whatever the percentage is, you're moving that as hard with as much force as if you were doing a max effort lift. So these are going to be extremely short rest periods, and the force and explosion and speed of these lifts have to be absolutely top notch. I mean, literally, like you have 1,000 pounds on your back, you want to be able to move it like that. It's just that force, that power, that pressure. So again, it's like again, if you're, although you only have 40% on your back for squat, the force and acceleration in which you're moving that weight should be, let's say the bar weight's 200, but the force and acceleration in which you're moving it at is like 500 pounds. So you'll see some lifters where actually a barbell, they'll move so fast the barbell will come off their back almost, right? So you wanna move on these explosive and fast. So there's a breakdown of kind of like the first 4 days that I'm planning. I am going to add a 5th day, and this will be a recovery day. This will include, delt and recovery work, blood flow, some bodybuilding, obviously bodybuilding splits on the 5th day. Definitely going to utilize sled drags, sled pulls, get outside and do some work in that sense. So there will be a 5th day. Still working on that, and still have obviously a lot of work to do with the split in general as far as what days and how it's all going to get broken down. So again, here's just a little bit of what I got for you guys so far. I got a lot more work to do on this, but I just wanted to give you a sneak peek at what I'm looking at. So again, here's what I got planned so far. Love to hear your feedback, comments. Let's have some good conversation and dialogue. Still got a lot of work to do on it, but either way, starting to shape things up and get ready for this next training cycle. So we'll see you guys for the next video.